Hi there, I hope you're all well and welcome to the channel. This week I've been in Venice. I've had a fantastic time. I've shot so many pictures and until I get round to processing them all I don't want to share them. So I'm going to save those for next week. But for this week's video I've got some pictures from Penarth Pier. It's one of my favourite locations in South Wales. But I'm just going to give you a quick warning. If you get wet, if your camera gets wet, if there's any water in or on, particularly if it's seawater, please make sure you dry it. My mistake, always a novice, always trying to learn as I go along. So I'm a klutz. I don't know how else to say it. I tend to have things which I don't abuse, but I don't probably take as much care of it as I should do. So I was at Penarth, and there you can get down onto the beach, but we had a really high tide and the water was way up. But there's steps down to the beach, and I was standing on the edge of the steps, getting protection from the rain because there was the walkway overhead and tripod set up, and all of a sudden an enormous wave bashed against the seawall, splashed me and covered me, and got onto the camera. I dried it all off straight away, but perhaps I should have taken a little bit more care when I got back to the flat and just made sure that everything was dry. But I didn't do it as well as I should have done. And then when I went to the day before I went to Venice, I turned on my camera, but I couldn't turn on my camera because the shutter and on-off switch from the X-T3 just didn't want to move. And I eased it, and it did open. And I took 800 pictures when I was in Venice, and all fine. I've got them home, I've uploaded them. But when I started recording this video, I kept on getting a card write error, and I think perhaps the card has been damaged, so I'm going to have to make sure reformat it and see if that helps. But so the answer is don't be a klutz. The other thing that happened when I was taking these pictures is that because I was getting water on the lens and I had a UV filter on, I thought what I'll do is I'll take off the UV filter and get a good clear picture, and the UV filter bounced out my hand, down the steps and straight into the sea. So that was lost. In our house, when I do something stupid that means that something needs to be repaired or replaced, it's a tax on stupidity. So I lost a UV filter, tax on stupidity, needs replacing. Hopefully I don't have to replace the shutter button on my X-T3 because that would be a big tax on stupidity. It looks like I'll probably have to replace my memory card, another tax on stupidity. Don't be like me. And the last part of that story is I was taking some long exposures on San Giorgio, which I'll show you in the next week's video, and I was putting on my leaf filters adapter ring, and I spun it onto the lens. It didn't take the thread, it danced out of my hands and bounced along the front of the water, and I managed to kick it so it went away from the water and I didn't lose it into the sea. But if there is a lesson, don't be like me. Be a little bit more careful with your camera equipment and try to take a bit more care, please. In terms of what you should do, I don't really know if your camera gets wet with seawater, but what you should do is turn your camera off straight away, take out the battery, take out the cards, take off the lens, put a body cap on the body. Make sure that you, before you do that, you dry off the seal and the connections on the body, between the body and the lens. Try and keep that all dry. If you've got lots of water on it, take some clean water when you get back, and try and get any water from the sea off the camera, out of the camera, any of the connections. And apparently on the lens, if you have any seawater on your lens, dab it with a micro cloth. I have one around here somewhere. Dab off those spots. I hope this has been helpful. Please don't be a klutz like me. Anyway, I hope you enjoy these few pictures from Penarth Pier. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.